When I first recorded the above video, one of the most frequently asked questions I got was, do you have to use a fountain pen in order to write that way? Let's find out. Hey everyone, this is CJ of CJ's Creative Studio, and we're right now looking at what remains of a Dixon Ticonderoga wood pencil. It's freshly sharpened, and we're about to write some text in CJ Roundhand. I did this because I've gotten a lot of questions about whether you have to use a fountain pen to write in this style. Fact of the matter is, you don't, and I'm going to prove it to you. I wish I could prove it to you with really good handwriting, but the fact of the matter is that I've been playing around with my camera setup, and I have two cameras in the way of my hands, and I'm having to reach forward more than I usually do when I write. So it's a little bit difficult. But as we can see, a wood pencil writes just fine. Now next, we have a mechanical pencil, a Sanford Digit 0.5 millimeter lead. This is a pencil that I don't think is made anymore. I still have a few in my own personal collection, but I haven't been able to buy more recently. And I really haven't found a good substitute, which is kind of sad, really, when you think about it. But as you can see with the wood pencil, this writes just fine, which is good news considering how many pages and pages and pages of notes I've written using this very pencil. The paper I'm writing with are strips cut from a Rhodia pad. It's a lined Rhodia number 18. Which is a good fountain pen paper, and as you can see, it works fine with pencil too. Okay, next up is a red Pilot G2 with a 0.5 ball. I want to say ballpoint, but that's incorrect. This is a gel pen. And honestly, I don't write a lot with gel or rollerball or fountain. Sorry, not fountain pens, but regular ballpoint pens. So I was having a tough time finding something. I happen to have these red pens for when I do corrections on writing and whatnot. So I just happen to have one lying around. It writes pretty darn good. Next up is a bit of a blast from the past. This is a pen that was very popular in the 70s when I was growing up, or going to school rather, and that is a Papermate Flare felt tip pen. These were all the rage. People wrote with these all the time in school. One of the reasons it was liked was because it had a bit of a protected tip, which was kind of unique for felt tip pens at the time. Some point soon I'm going to do more handwriting videos so that you can see some of the tricks and conveniences I use with CJ Roundhand that I didn't really cover well in the original videos. And speaking of the original videos, we are going to revisit an old friend, the fountain pen. This is a Pilot 78G body, and it has the nib from a Pilot Metropolitan. It's a medium nib. Something that happens a lot in fountain pens is swapping compatible nibs, and that's something I did here. It's because the 78G had a nib I really loved, and I put it into my Pilot Metropolitan, and so I put that nib into this one. And this nib is a very smooth writer. And as you can tell as I'm writing with it, I'm much more accustomed to writing with a fountain pen than I am with any of the other writing tools. This was very easy for me to do, the easiest of the lot. And lastly, we are going to go with one of my go-tos just to prove to people that it can be done, a quill pen. It's cut from a goose quill. You have to use a knife and slit it and everything else, and you have to dip it into an inkwell. And except for a little bit of squeaking, which is something that happens a lot with quill pens, it wrote just fine. You don't have to do calligraphy, you can just do cursive writing. Quill pens are very forgiving, surprisingly enough. And right now, having my hands out of position kind of came to the fore as the paper buckled as I was writing. And now I'm cleaning off the nib real quick on a towel so I can put it down and not mess up the paper. So I hope that was helpful for you all. Please click the like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you again for the next video. Until then, be creative and keep on practicing.